There's new evidence that longer distance rail commuting is becoming more affordable for people who work in London. Moving further away from the capital has traditionally meant less expensive property but higher rail fares. But changes in house prices and the cost of rail tickets are not spread evenly. For the first time, we can show you hotspots, the best and worst places to live if you depend on the train. In a moment, we'll hear from people who have chosen to move out of London. First, though, here's our transport correspondent, Paul Clifton. Paul.
Sally, let's explain first what we're doing. A transport analyst has taken vast amounts of data about the price of a season ticket from every station and overlaid the mortgage payments for an average local property. Now, bear in mind that an average house in London is going up in value by £1,000 a week. And here is the result. It is a map of affordability. You can see it's a mixture of colours, so let's pick out a few. The areas coloured red are the most expensive. If you live in Winchester, Micheldever, Overton, Hazelmere, Pangbourne or Petersfield, you spend more than £2,500 a month on your mortgage and your train journey. But commute from Basingstoke, Andover, Salisbury, Southampton, Portsmouth or Worthing, and the cost drops dramatically to £1,000 a month. If you choose to live in the areas marked red and work in London, then you need deep pockets.
It is generally cheaper to move out of London. There's a good case in many people's circumstances to move out of London because the cost saved through having cheaper mortgages is generally greater than the additional cost of commuting.
Living in the suburbs for cheaper and perhaps better property and commuting to London is a long-established trend. So here's Prince Philip looking around Bracknell, Newtown in 1950. But house prices fall away unevenly as you move out from the capital, reflecting local desirability. And a season ticket on a branch line can be lower than from a neighbouring mainline station. Now, look what happens when we overlay the change in housing cost and train tickets over the last year. This is fascinating because demand is not rising evenly across the south. On the railway west from Basingstoke, Salisbury, Whitchurch and Overton are all shown red. Further east, so is Petersfield. That means an increase of 7% in 1 year. Whereas in Hazelmere, Thatcham, Eastleigh and, surprisingly, Winchester, the cost of owning a house and travelling to London has gone up by less than half as much.
I think in the future we know that London's house prices are growing much faster at the moment than other parts of the southeast. So I think the implications for the railway are quite significant. It suggests that there may well be more people commuting, perhaps longer distances.
For people moving out of London in search of more affordable living, these maps show where is most expensive and where is cheapest for commuters. Our business correspondent, Alistair Fee, reports.
Give us some milk bags.
Breakfast at the Mann household. It's been a busy time for this young family. Until recently they were Londoners, but moved to Wiltshire in April.
We found the school that we liked, and then we found this house. We wanted a bit more space, we wanted more garden, we wanted to have fields to look out over.
And you found your money went further?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, definitely. Goes much further.
The move was helped by London's soaring house prices. But the city is still very much a part of their lives. The journey to the capital is one James does 3 days a week. He works in telecoms and changes in technology gives the flexibility to make it work.
I probably would have struggled to do that 5 days a week just because it is probably that bit further. And I think by being able to do what I do and have those couple of days at home, actually I find that I'm more productive when I'm at home than actually when I'm in the office.
The trend to leave London is increasing, as is the thirst for information. That's what drove Belinda Aspinall to set up a website, Life After London. It provides answers for those looking to move.
The ideal for people is certainly what we call home in an hour. So it's an hour on a mainline station. But beyond that, people will go for 2 hours. So that's a 4-hour commute in a day. But for lots of people, work is changing. So they might be doing that 4 days a week rather than 5 days a week. And I think that's quite critical to people's sort of sense of well-being. It can make a big difference.
A 10-minute drive from home brings James to Pewsey Station. The service will get him into Paddington in an hour and a quarter.
I'm not crammed in like a sardine on the Northern Line. I get a seat. I can sit back, I can read the paper, but more importantly I can actually begin getting on with some work. So really start my day as soon as I get on the train.
This route from Wiltshire to London is getting busier every year. But with more people working from home, the rail industry is now looking at season tickets for commuters travelling fewer than 5 days a week. Alistair Fee, BBC South Today.
This is the first time these figures have been calculated. There are some anomalies because of the nature of the data, but over the coming years, clearer trends may emerge. We already know the number of people travelling by train in this area has risen by almost a third in just 4 years. This will become a serious problem. But here is real evidence of where the biggest pressures on our communities will be. Sally.
Paul, thanks very much. And you can look at the research. We put a link on our Facebook page, so go there and find out more.